Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PSP mini review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Age of Zombies, which if you've never played it before, it's basically a Dracula Undead Awakening Smash TV style game. Options wise, you've got very basic stuff, sound effects, music, you can switch autosave on. You've then got new game and survival mode, which survival mode is basically when you beat a level, you'll get the survival mode on that same level and you just basically survive as long as you can. Story-wise and stuff like that, the game's a bit daft, and it's one of those that it's not there to be taken seriously, and it's just funny in places, like, for example, this surprise professor shit for brains. So, I will warn you, it's got a bit of swearing in it, and it's also obviously got blood and stuff, but it's just one of those. It's a daft story about a professor sending zombies back in time, so you have to go in and kill the zombies and that. So anyway, as I mentioned earlier, it's basically a Dracula Undead Awakening Smash TV style game, only it's slightly different. First up, before I mention anything about the gameplay and that, to be fair, I might as well mention that yet again on the PS3 there aren't dual analog control. Unlike Dracula as well, it doesn't even have a system where you can use a D-pad and an analog, so it's just the face buttons to shoot. So if you don't like that sort of gameplay, like controls for this game, then you're gonna have to look elsewhere, I'm afraid. But anyway, as I was mentioning about the gameplay, whereas on Dracula and that and certain games it's just waves and waves of enemies and you have to survive, that is purely the survival mode on this. With the main game, you've got a limit. Over on the left side of the screen there's a green bar, and when that bar empties from basically killing all the zombies, you move on. There's 5 levels overall, and considering it's one of the more expensive minis, it's a bit of a shame that it's so short, because while thankfully you've got the survival modes, 5 levels when it's based around the levels and that, and the levels aren't exactly that big or that, well, original and gripping, it can seem a bit short and you can probably get sick of it after a little while. However, it still is a really good style of game for this, well, genre and that, and if you like them, then hopefully, as it's only £4, you won't exactly be complaining. But, anyway, as I say, it is just this usual stuff where you have to kill the enemies as they come along. You can get power-ups, you can get shotguns, you can get Uzis, you can get grenades and that. You go through the daft eras, which, like, you'll fight mummies as well, and you'll go through the 1930s and stuff, and cavemen. It's just totally daft with the way the game is, and it's one of the things that actually makes up for the length. The fact that it is unique and original and just fun to play. It looks fantastic, and sound-wise it's pretty good as well, so I will shut up for a bit of music. It's also got some bosses, and to be fair, I might as well shut up for the music now and then just cut to a boss. So anyway, this is the first proper boss, because you do get a bit of a big zombie, but he's not really a boss, and it's a zombie T-Rex, and he's got all sorts of different things that you can do, like spit acid and stuff at you. Well, I think it's supposed to be zombie puke or something, but it looks a bit like acid, and you can do that shockwave that you've already saw, and the whole point is that he basically chases after you, well, the boss chases after you, or boss just like does boss stuff, and you've got a load of zombies to contend with, but you don't have to kill all the zombies this time, you just have to kill the boss. So the green bar this time is the boss's energy bar, and there's not really much left to be said about the game, to be fair, other than the fact that you basically continue doing this for 5 levels and then go on to the survival modes if you want more gameplay from it. It's a rather good game, especially for the genre, which seems to get a lot of duds every now and then, but this is a pretty good one. It's just a shame that for the price there's not a bit more, because compared to iDracula, which, to be fair, there's slightly less with iDracula with number of levels, but there's more weapons and power-ups and that. It's just one of those that it's hard to recommend this over iDracula if you only want one of them. and I keep calling it iDracula, even though that's the iPod name. It's Dracula Undead Awakening on the minis. So yeah, I think it's a good time to leave before I make even more of a fool of myself. But as I say, if you like the genre, then it's a good one. If you're not massively into the genre, go for Dracula. So there we go then, that's been the review. I hope you've enjoyed it, or at least found it helpful. You might have noticed I didn't score the game. Well, that's because it's a matter of personal opinion, and yours may very well differ from my own. I'm just here to show you a bit about the game. If you like it or not, well, that's up to you. If you don't like it, or you do like it, feel free to comment. Also, if I haven't answered any of your questions that you may have had, I might have forgot something, or it might just be something obscure. Again, feel free to comment, ask, always willing to help out. Otherwise, if you don't like commenting on YouTube, head over to www.vc-forums.com, where you can chat with me and a bunch of other lads who love the VC, the WiiWare, and hell, even a lot of other systems. We cater to pretty much everything. You can just go there, have a chat about a game, ask about some games, etc. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.